What's up, people? We are back. It's been a while since we've been here, but we are back, fellas.
We are back.
Another episode of the Layup Line Podcast. I am one of your co-captains, AJ, here with my brother Mark, and we have a special guest today, Keith. What's up, Keith?
What's going on, fellas?
You alright?
Yes, sir.
It's been a minute, man.
Yeah.
All right, but I'm happy. A lot of stuff has happened that we didn't discuss. We got to get into it. Actually, no. Let's. I want to get into something that we kind of touched on in one of our podcasts last year, but I want to really dissect it because I'm frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and that's the state of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, the state of basketball from top to bottom, grassroots to professional, is not good. It's just really not good. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, like I said on the other one, of the previous podcast, I agree wholeheartedly, and that applies for, like you said, all the way from youth all the way up to NBA, or even overseas. It's just bad as a whole, I think. Keith?
Just like how we spoke about the difference between coaches and trainers. It's easy to pick a kid that's already developed and then to actually put in the work to develop these kids. And some of them get to high school thinking that they're great because they got the wrong coaches or they're going on the wrong teams and they're losing their identity. Then, of course, they expect to go to big schools and automatically assume they're going to get picked up to a good college. Man, by the time they get to 10th grade, it's over.
Right.
They're trying to figure it out. We got to be here to save them.
I think we definitely need to discuss what the root of the issue is. And I think you touched on, Keith, about, coaches wanting to hop on with the player who's already seasoned instead of developing the player who, has potential. But before we do that, I have a question. What do you think, if we all agree that this era of basketball is not good, then what will we consider to be the golden era of basketball?
Oh, without a doubt. Michael Jordan era. Put it like that, from 88, 89 to little Kobe.
So give me a 10-year window.
Definitely 2000, 2010. That's the Kobe era.
You think that's the golden era of basketball?
Golden era, that's the silver era. The golden era, I'm going to go 90 to 2000s, the Mike era.
So 90 to 2000.
Mm-hmm.
Keith, what would you consider?
I'm an 80s baby, the same way
So
I saw
90 to-
90 Jordan.
What you got?
I'm going to go 85 to 95.
85. Okay.
So
that's Mike.
Jordan,
Yeah, Mike.
Mike just came in, but also we're touching on, through the Pistons, up into a little bit of Kobe. So when Mike left.
You said 85, like Kobe was there.
No, Kobe was 96. Sorry.
Yeah.
Who was in there before that? Penny.
Mike. Or Penny, Shaq.
But not even just the players, but more so just how basketball was, right?
Yep.
It was physical. It wasn't so. It was
famous.
entertaining, but it wasn't so driven on entertainment. It wasn't so many threes and everything. It was more skill based, and I think that's what we're missing in today's era. Everything is threes and dunks, right? It's not, and not to say that's not a skill, but it's not skill based. Right? You see a lot of these players who we determine to be, or who are labeled as the top player here, top player there. They can't make them. They can't make a bounce pass. They can't jump stop. They can't dribble their offhand. Like it's wild to see that, But basketball has turned into something bigger than I guess we all imagine. That now is transcended into something beyond basics or something beyond fundamentals.
I think what's happening is our generation, or my generation, I'm a little older, is looking at basketball from the purest standpoint, as far as, like you said, jump stop, bounce pass, and stuff like that. I think that we have to come to grips that it's not about that anymore. It's more about strictly entertainment. It's strictly entertainment, clips, highlight clips, as Austin Rivers said in his dialogue, his soliloquy. It's about entertainment. That's all it is.
So we're all in the same industry, which is player development.
Yep.
Do we, and I know we talked about this before, but I really want to get a beat on this. Do we conform, or do we, run to the mountaintop and hang our flag and hope that someone sees it? What do we do?
Want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
No type of conforming on this side.
Okay.
I'm going to teach the basic stuff as all the way through.
But you just said that we have to realize, you have to understand it's not about that.
Right.
And I'm not saying you're wrong, because I agree with you, but that's the struggle, right?
I don't think it's a struggle. Here's why. I think that the entertainment is a sizzle. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, substance outlasts sizzle.
Yeah, quality, yeah.
So I'm going to continually teach the substance where you're going to be able to transcend from the high school level to the collegiate level. And if by chance you're lucky enough to go beyond, you'll still be okay to be successful. Sizzle to me is just you get hot. I equate sizzle to the bottle girls bringing the bottles at the club. It looks pretty at that particular time. They're walking through with the bottles and they're sizzling and sparkling and all that stuff, but that goes out after a while. You put the bottle there, it goes out.
Right.
All right, so at the end of the day, you have to be able to have substance and have a strong foundation and rooted in fundamentals.
Yeah, Nicholas Batum talked about it the other day, in a quick skit. Basketball right now, all about fundamentals, and I think we forget about the basics. Most of these coaches, we think have a program, they don't. Again, they come in, they're they may be well seasoned, but they don't know how to be coached. Then when they get to the college level, they're lost. Same thing happened to me. Is I had to learn the hard way.
Right.
I didn't get my development until I got to college. So, but luckily for me, I was athletic and I could shoot the ball a little bit at the time, but my footwork and everything else was horrendous. And you're trying to teach that now. All you got now is clips, highlights, dunks. That's what they want to do.
Right.
As soon as they come in the court, where do they go? 3-point line.
Right.
They can't make 2 layups in a row.
Right. I
So,
agree with that.
but
I'm a little perturbed at the basketball community as a whole, though. And I'll say this from this, and again, I'm not being the old man at the club mentality. We've been preaching this since 2010 that the game as a whole is deteriorating. I'm happy to see people are now jumping on board and saying that, but if they had stopped it or earlier, and we wouldn't be in the position we are right now. Because you look at, and I'm not throwing trainers under the table per se, but
you should. You would be right if you did.
That era of, let's say, of training basketball, back when training became a thing, when it was all glitz and glamour and all the cone ripping and all that stuff, that is not coming back to bite players, because those players that were doing that and trainers that were teaching that, it didn't translate and it doesn't translate to the game. And now, happily, the parents and professional players are now seeing that bullshit never really, the sizzle didn't necessarily fly in making that kid better. So now the game is suffering, particularly on the NBA level, because everyone's just out there shooting threes, everyone's doing highlight moves, because that's all they taught. They taught the 1% of basketball.
Right.
As opposed to the 99% of basketball, which is 2 dribbles pull up, 1 dribble pull up, catch and shoot, come off the curl, foundation, inside foot, 2-foot finishes, floaters. All of that stuff, which is basic basketball, they got away from that, and they're doing, well, I'm not going to get into that. They're doing shit that's not translated to the game of basketball.
At all.
And that's what
Not everyday basketball, no.
I mean,
they doing shit that you do that happen like once every 10 games.
1% of basketball.
As opposed to like every game, if you do this, you'll be successful.
Correct.
Instead of, like you said, the sizzle, taking that one shot and like, oh snap, but you don't do that once every 15 games. Like that doesn't happen all the time.
And before we leave that, and we're focusing solely on the offensive side. It's affecting the defensive side also, because players and student athletes don't want to be embarrassed, right? So they're not locking up as much as they possibly can. I think you sent the clip where LeBron locked up the kid for 29 seconds. The kid crossed over one time. LeBron, not LeBron, Bronny slipped, and then that was the clip.
That was the clip.
Meanwhile, the kid did absolutely nothing with the ball after that.
That's actually bad basketball, to be honest.
That's a horrible basketball. And then, but the clip went viral. It made it look like he crossed Bronny over.
Well, I'll tell you when I knew that basketball was going south, or really going south, is when LaMelo Ball was in high school and he had 90 points or something. Whatever he had.
Half court.
It didn't cross half court, and everybody was like, "Oh," I'm like, the dude shot a bunch of threes, stayed cherry picked, got the rebound, laid it up, reached on defense, stayed. I was like, this is what we applauding, But again, I always blame. I blame the family that allows someone to teach their kid or teach their player this. But I also blame the trainer because he knows he shouldn't be going that route. He knows. Like at some point in time, you have to understand that you're affecting this player's future. At any level, you have to understand that. And I always say, for me, if a player doesn't want to train with me or leaves my training service to go somewhere, that's on them because I know what I bring to the table. But I know when they go elsewhere and they get the sizzle that they'll come back because that sizzle only, like you said, only lasts so long, right? And at the end of the day, you have to be fundamentally rooted to play basketball at a high level. I don't care what you say, you have to be fundamentally rooted because there's so many things that happen in the game that you need to have skill in, right? Even from help side defense to a bounce pass to a jump stop, you have to be able to do these things. You just can't run up and down the court and play basketball.
You're not playing basketball
at all.
That's trash.
At all. I mean, even things that off the court that don't require skill, like communication. Like these kids don't even talk to each other on the court, which is crazy.
I know we're gonna wrap up, but this is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. I watched a game. Kids are going up and down 5-on-5. A kid called ISO. Now I don't play video games anymore. That era's long gone for me. A kid called ISO, and everyone on the court moved and let him go one-on-one against each other.
Like a 1-4 ISO, like back in the day when we was playing, or like an ISO, like where everyone just.
They move. They move like it's allowed.
No eyeball screen.
Yeah.
It's allowed.
Defense, like the defense too was like,
go get your ISO. Get the fuck. No. Get on helpline. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get a stop right now. Right. But anyway, that's today's basketball.
I feel like video games are raising the future basketball players.
Kids. They're raising our future kids.
I think video games are raising them, and not video games specifically, but the video game ideology. And I say that because when we were coming up, we used to watch film, tape, right? Basketball. In order for us, we didn't have YouTube where everything was clipped, right? So in order to see Jordan's air reverse, which everyone wanted to see, we had to watch a complete game of his mistakes, his other plays, and then to get to that one ooh and ah. Right, nowadays you can go on YouTube and you can say Jordan air reverse and you'll see 85 clips of him doing air reverse. You have no idea what he did to get to the air reverse. You have no idea about the turnovers he made before he got there, the missed shots he did. And all of that, and so that era is raising our kids. So when they go on the court, that's all they see. Right. If I see one more kid do a Euro step with the guy 5 feet in front of them, like, why are you Euro stepping the guy? He's 5 feet off of you. We have no idea. These kids have no idea of the what, when, and why. Right. So it's hard to see, but like you said, Mark, I think it's starting to turn a little bit where players, parents, and hopefully influencers are seeing that. Okay, maybe we can do a little bit of both, or maybe we need to get back to the essence.